This is a presentation for the Year 6 SAT 2022. We are going to be talking about what exactly to expect, how things are going to be marked, and when the test will be. I know a lot of our children are very, very prepared because we've been spending a lot of time obviously looking at the SATs and working on it. Here is an opportunity for us to kind of talk about what it's all going to be about, and then for us to kind of discuss what we will be doing moving forward. So the SATs is used to refer to the end of year or candidate users to assessments. It lasts for 4 days, beginning on Monday the 9th of May 2022, and it will end on Thursday the 12th of May 2022. The children will sit the following papers: a grammar punctuation paper, which is a spelling paper, another grammar punctuation paper, which is going to be all of those questions that you've been getting for homework, quite a lot of, a reading paper, which will be a comprehension paper, looking at their inference skills, their vocabulary skills, deduction skills. Probably one of the favourite papers that we do. The children really do enjoy a reading paper. We'll have maths paper 1, the arithmetic, which is going to be not going to be any problem solving. It's going to be answering of questions to test their fluency and understanding. Reasoning papers will be on the Wednesday also. Then we're going to have on the Thursday one final paper, which will be the maths paper 3. Writing is assessed differently. It's using evidence which is collected throughout the year. So I'll be looking at their writing books to then decide where they'll be and moderate it with Mr. Tang. When and how are tests carried out? The tests will take place during normal school hours, under exam conditions, across the Year 5 and Year 6 classrooms. Now, we may not need to spread out that much, but if we do need to spread out, we would use 2 classes, but it should be fine. We'll have enough adults involved to be able to support that. Children are not allowed to talk to each other from the moment the assessments are handed out until they are collected after the test has ended. Afterwards, the completed papers are sent away to be marked externally. Now, one thing we would have noticed on some of the practice papers is a little barcode at the bottom. A little barcode on the bottom basically means that they're scanned by a company or by the government. And once they are scanned, we then are able to get them marked a lot quicker than by people actually marking them themselves. So that's why the children need to really make sure that they are writing the numbers correctly and writing the words correctly, so it is legible for, I guess, a computer to read it. The children's results are sent back to school at some point in July and will be reported to parents and also carers. The standard timings of the tests differ, but last no more than 60 minutes. So the grammar punctuation is going to be about 45 minutes. We'll be doing that on the first day. Then there'll be a spelling paper, which is 15 minutes, and I'll be reading out the words to them. The reading paper is 60 minutes, it's a whole hour. They have an hour to read it, they read the paper, they have an hour to answer the questions. Maths paper 1 will be arithmetic, which should be 30 minutes, and then your 2 reasoning papers are 40 minutes long. Specific arrangements for SATs. Now, children with additional needs who have similar provisions in their day-to-day learning at school may be allotted specific arrangements, including additional time, tests being opened early to be modified, an adult to read to them, an adult to scribe written or spoken translations of the mathematics reading papers, to use the use of prompts or rest breaks, arrangements for children who are ill or injured at the time of the tests. We are taking all of these things into account, and things have been put in place already. So Mr. Tang is more than aware of those, and they will be put in place when we are doing our tests. Once marked, the tests will be given the following scores: a raw score, which is the total number of marks achieved for each paper; a scaled score, which is explained below; a judgment of whether the national standard has been met. So after marking each test, external markers will convert each raw score into a scaled score to show whether each child is working below or above the national standard. Scale scores change each year depending on the difficulty experienced nationally of the papers. When a scale score is given, it is given in a range of 80 to 120. A scale score of 100 or more is meeting the national standard. There are no separate tests for higher achieving pupils. However, a scale score of 110 to 120 will show that the child is working above the national standard known as greater depth. This was in 2017. This is where it was in terms of the scale score. So for instance, if we're looking at our mathematics, the scale score was around 57 as a raw mark. That would have been all 3 papers put together. 57 would have been the pass mark. So you would have taken into account the arithmetic, you've taken out the paper 2 and the paper 3, and 57 altogether would have been the pass mark of 100. Now, this is the same for English and reading. So with the reading, the same thing. It was 26 overall out of the 50 would have been the pass mark. Then we're looking at the grammar and punctuation. The 36 out of the 70 would have been the pass mark. Grammar, punctuation, spelling is made up of 2 papers, which will take place on Monday, the 9th of May. Paper 1 is a longer paper, lasting 45 minutes. Children will be tested on grammar and punctuation spelling generally. Paper 2 is a short paper, lasting 50 minutes, where children will be tested on spellings only. I'll be reading out the spellings, and they would have to put the answers into the blank sentence. Grammar, punctuation, spelling is the longer paper, lasting 45 minutes, which takes place on Monday the 9th of May 2022. Should be prepared by their class teachers so they are equipped with good knowledge of technical vocabulary, need to identify and describe various aspects of grammar and punctuation marks. So looking at things like standard English and formality, vocabulary, punctuation, verb forms, tenses, consistency, combining words, phrases, and also clauses, functions of sentences, grammatical terms, and word classes. This is an example of what it would actually look like. I think you would have seen quite a lot of this for homework. The kids would have seen a lot of this when we've been doing practice papers. And also what we try and do is start our English lessons with questions like this, just to kind of get them used to the expectation. This will be the spelling. So the children themselves will just be getting the top bit. So the grey clouds looked in the sky. And I will actually read out the word, and say the spelling word is then I will read out the sentence with the spelling word, and then I will read out the spelling word again. So they hear it 3 times. Reading. Year 6 reading SATs paper will be sat on Tuesday the 10th of May 2022. The assessment has been designed to measure whether children's comprehension of age-appropriate reading materials meet the national standard. It is a standard timing of 60 minutes, including reading the text and answering the questions, so it's all lumped into both. So back in the day, I think it was, you have this much time to read the text, and now you can answer the questions, you just go straight away and answer it. The children have been very, very well prepared for how to answer reading papers. The reading paper focuses on certain content domains that we've looked at quite a lot. So for instance, you explain the meaning of the words in context, retrieving and recording information, summarizing main ideas, making inferences, predictions, identifying how information and content is related to contributions to meaning as a whole, and identifying and explaining how meaning is enhanced through the choice of words. A lot of these strands of domains are something which a lot of the children work on during guided reading. These are the sort of things that we have in reading papers. Based on what you have read, what does the last paragraph suggest might happen to the explorers next? Use evidence from the paragraph to support your prediction. Now, the children need to answer these questions using bullet points. It's probably the best way, as you can see with the example responses. Doing bullet points is the best way that if it's a 3-mark question, you write your 3 bullet points and they are 3 different points, you're in a chance to get 3 marks. Since the current testing format for Year 6 SATs began in 2016, there's been a tendency for the number of marks to go in favour towards 3 particular types of content domains. This has always been the case. 20% of the marks could be gained by answering questions where the children have to explain the meaning of words in context. Over a quarter of the marks can be gained by answering questions where the children had to record information or details. And almost half of the marks required making inferences. So those are the 3 things we focused on quite a lot since Year 5. So I'm expecting the children to be quite confident when the paper comes their way. When reading with your child at home, try asking questions like, find a word in a paragraph that is closest meaning to provide word annoyed, for instance. In what year did provide fact? All these things. These are the best things to do with your children when they're reading. Now, for our maths paper 1, it will be on Wednesday, 11th of May. It has a standard timing of 30 minutes and is worth a total of 40 marks. It covers 4 operations: division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, mixed operation, calculating requiring bid mass, as well as number properties, calculating percentage of amounts, calculations using decimals, and calculations using fractions. Paper 2 and 3 is a little bit different. It is your reasoning paper. So paper 2 requires children to demonstrate their mathematical knowledge and skills, as well as their ability to solve problems and their mathematical reasoning. Questions focus on the following mathematical topics: number and place value, all the way down to fractions, decimals, and percentages. The questions get harder throughout the paper. It's not unusual for the child to be unable to complete the entire paper in time, so don't worry too much. Some examples, some questions. Obviously, you can pause me at any point to take a look at these. Now, how can I support my child to prepare for the SATs? Well, you've been doing a great job so far. Be positive. They go a long way. Encouragement, support is possible, but we don't need to tell you that. You know that already. Some further tips: direct any questions or concerns you have about the SATs to me or to us. Encourage your child to talk to us or another adult they trust if they express persisting anxieties about SATs. If your child is unwilling to talk to us, talk to them. Now, remember this about SATs. SATs focus on what they know about maths and English. SATs results don't always tell the whole story. SATs last for 1 week. Now, the second point I think is really interesting. The results will say they did or didn't meet a certain standard, but not necessarily by what margin. Additionally, the thresholds tend to change each year according to overall national performance. So what was classed as did meet expected standard in 2016 may have been considered a did not in 2015. We'll be able to provide you with more detailed feedback, so don't let your child see SATs as a simple case of pass or fail. Our advice for your Year 6 children: listen to what we say. We are both cheering you on and want you to do your best. Like, we want every child to do well. And that goes without saying. I think we are such a small school, and I think we know the children so well. We know what they're capable of. We know they're all capable of doing very, very well. And we know that they've made so much progress since we've met them in Year 5. So we just need to continue that. And I think they just need to know how proud we are of them. Make sure you get plenty of sleep and stay well fed. Sleep and food help keep the brain moving. Read the questions carefully. This can help to avoid any silly mistakes. Don't worry if there's something you can't answer. Take a deep breath. You can always move on and go back later, but it's better to write something rather than nothing. Keep in mind, Year 6 SATs are just 1 week of your entire lives. So thank you very much for listening. If there are any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch. Send a message. Class Dojo, it's fine. Either way. But I'm looking forward to the 9th of May. I think it's going to be a really cool week. Once it's done, we're going to talk about all the other fun stuff we do in Year 6, such as PGL, such as the play we're going to be working on, such as just being able to get ready and transition to Year 7. But I'm very much looking forward to the 9th of May. I'm also looking forward for it to be over. And when it is over, I guess we will have the other Year 6 things to worry about and to think about. But thank you so much for all of your support, parents. And let's hope that we're going to have a wonderful SATs week. Bye-bye.